Forestry Planology. He has a master degree of Forestry Remote Sensing in Purdue University in the USA. And he is already here with us. And also four distinguished speakers that will be introduced later on. So without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Yu to invite all the speakers. To Mr. Yu, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Please, we invite Pak Sigit and all speaker. Take a please. Pak Jarod, Pak Kus. Ya, di sana sih. Okay, thank you very much for coming to our invitation. So, today we try to discuss about how to managing forest beyond the state land in Indonesia. First of all, I would like to thank you to the Secretariat. Also, I thank you to Honorable Vice Minister of Environment and Forestry, and also to our focal point, Dr. Rwanda, and also to Head of Indonesian Pavilion, Dr. Agus Justianto. Very good morning. Of course, come to the place. We have a nice weather. It's very not very chill and in the place, and also we have a gathering here in a beautiful pavilion of Indonesia. First of all, also I would like to thank to my God that we can gathering here to discuss to manage a forest beyond the state land in Indonesia. Of course, as a theme of our pavilion, that's climate change for all time or scale or impact is very serious business in lifetime. So to tackle that, the first important thing have to be concerned in how to change the behavior attitude in forest management. For the reason we're talking about forest management beyond the forest land in Indonesia, large of area proportionally go to or owned by the state. So we divide forested land and non-forested land, which in non-forested land area still have remaining forest is lot and have enough impact to the livelihood and also to the surrounding environment. So according to the situation that approaching between forest in the state land and approaching managing forest in non-forest development will be different. And the first speaker is Professor Sigit, Pak Sigit Hadwianto, is a DG of Director General of Forest Planning and Environment Governance. He will be explain about the general policy of national about how to handle or how to approach forest in mainly in non-forest development area. Of course, will be mentioned also in forest state land. After that, Mr. Kustanto as Secretary Directorate General. Actually, I'm former Secretary General, so I'm right now a special advisor to the minister. Will Pak Kustanto also will describe or explain about policy implementation in province and the district in Indonesia. And we have also the third speaker is head of the district Sintang, West Province. We call Pak Bupati, Pak Jarot. Also will present about the how managing a forest in non-development forest area. It means in not forested area, which the impact of the livelihood, impact of the environment, and so on. This is the experience directly to the field. And finally, also we invite a professor for Ulmul University, a professor Rudy, also will be give a perception from the academician about how to manage the forest in non-forest development or remaining forest in non-development. So the first of all, I would like to invite Pak Professor Sigit to deliver the presentation. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Mr. Aludong, Vice Minister of Environment and Forestry, the Republic of Indonesia. Honorable Dr. Agus Justianto, Head of Indonesian Pavilion, DOP 25 UNFCCC, and all participation. I would like to present today, especially in national policy for managing forested area in non-forest development land in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, in Indonesia, to manage forest activities based on landscape situation, considering the landscape, the forest land use is categorized into many functions, such as protection, production, preservation, biodiversity, water resources, even to take climate change. Therefore, we allocate forest land according to the landscape watershed, which distributes in many islands. Total Indonesian area is 187.8 million hectare, composed by 125.9 million hectare as allocated forest land, including marine area, 5.5 hectare, and area for non-development forest land is 67.4 million hectare. In non-development forest land, still have forest cover 7.9 million hectare distributed in all islands in Indonesia. The allocated forest land which is divided into protection forest, 29.7 million hectares, conservation forest, 21.9 million hectares, limited production forest, 26.8 million hectare, and production forest, 29.2 million hectare, and convertible production forest, 12.8 million hectare, has been well regulated by government. The purpose of convertible production forest is reserved for development, such as settlement development area, agriculture, and estate. On the other hand, non-forest development in Indonesia, which is 67.4 million hectare, has remaining forest cover, about 7.9 million hectare. This forest has not been well regulated. The distribution of allocated forest in Indonesia could be seen on the screen. Yeah. So the next slide, considering the distribution of forest area in allocated forest land or forest land use, the government of Indonesia has been state in National Forestry Program 2011 to 2030 that managed as follow. Conservation, second natural forest and pit ecosystem protection, third rehabilitation priority, fourth utilization based on cooperation, five utilization based on community, seven non-forest management. In non-development forest area, which is comprised 36% of Indonesian total area, still remain 7.9 million hectare forested area, or 12% of it. Forest in non-forest development area is vital for life supporting system, maintaining microclimate, sheltering wildlife, reducing pollution, and supporting livelihood. Forest in non-forest development area comprises of primary forest, 18%, secondary forest, 16%, and plantation forest, 66%. As we may concern that this area has a high pressure compared to the allocated forest land, which has been determined as a permanent forest. Therefore, the government encourage local government, private sector, academician, and civil society to maintain and protect this forest area. The intervention of the government consider to the condition of forested area in primary forest, secondary forest, and plantation forest. This consideration influence to the way how to develop a strategy for facilitating of the information access, improving knowledge, increasing capabilities, and developing incentive. In order to develop a strategy, the main actor of local government, private, civil society, and academician should be involved, properly included gender. Nowadays, the program applied start in Kalimantan Island in 3 provinces. It has West Kalimantan, East Kalimantan, and Central Kalimantan. With this for focus district are Ketapang, Sintang, Kota Waringin Barat, and Kota Kutai Timur. Before conclude my presentation, I would like to invite you to see in the screen as follow. Okay, I thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So please hold on the every question. So I like to proceed the presentation to Pak Kustanto. We want to have the whole picture of our presentation. So we invite Pak Kustanto to deliver the presentation. Floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Pak Yuyu. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in this occasion, I would like to present my presentation with the title of Managing Forest Ecosystem Beyond State Forestland. As Pak Sigit said in his presentation that we have around 125 forest land in Indonesia, which is spread out around the country. We can see in this map that the convertible production forest is around 10.72%. This is represented by magenta color. And then we also have a conservation forest, which is represented by purple color. This is around 21.79%. The other hand, we also have a permanent production forest and also limited production forest and protection forest, which is represented by dark green, 23.50%. Next. And in this next slide, we can see the distribution of forest cover in Indonesia. We can see that the best forest coverage in Papua Island. And then we can see that the forest cover in Sumatra and Java Island is almost diminished, and then the better from Sumatra and Java is in Kalimantan and Sulawesi. This is the forest cover we have from satellite imagery in 2018. Next. In Indonesia, we have a national long-term forest inventory. This is a long-term planning started in 2011 to 2030, and we established 6 land use direction within our forest land. We have 26.42 million hectare dedicated for conservation. And we also have forest for protection of natural forest and peatland ecosystem, which are 41 million hectare, and 3.96 million hectare we need to rehabilitate. For corporated based forest utilization, we have 37.38 million hectare, and forest land for community based utilization, we have around 13.16 million hectare. The rest, we have 4 million hectare, which is dedicated for non-forest purposes. Based on this long-term planning, we also have the strategic planning for Directorate General Forestry Planning and Environmental Governance. We have 10 core business. First, we have plan for the protection and management of resources, natural, environmental, and forestry. Second, we inventory and monitoring of forest resources. The third, we have forest area planning. And the fourth, establishment of forest management area. The fifth, we have forest area boundary establishment. And six, forest area utilization design. Seven, designing the benefit of forest resource allocation, strategic environment assessment, and environment protection and management plan. The last one is environmental impact assessment. And then we have 7 main indicator. One is determination of 100% forest area through the demarcation of forest boundary along 35,000 kilometer. And also 4.1 million hectare of forest will be dedicated for agrarian reform. And then we do redesign and implementation of national forest inventory in 34 provinces, and also comprehensive whole and sustainable forest area planning in 34 provinces. We also finished forest management planning document for 151 forest management unit and strategic environmental assessment document for 150 location. And also we try to develop the environmental information system. Next. To conserve and to protect our forest outside non-forest land, we have a cooperation with the UNDP funded by GEF. We have a project called Strengthening Forest Area Planning and Management in Kalimantan. This is the detailed project as Pak Dirjen Pak Sigit mentioned before. And next. When Pak Sigit present the forest cover, he said that we have 7 million hectare of forest outside the non-forest land. In Kalimantan, we still have 2.3 million forests. With the condition is primary forest and secondary forest. And we found a lot that this forested area is the habitat of wildlife, as a wildlife sanctuary. And 10% of them have been allocated for non-forest sector. So we can that we don't we are worried that all the forest outside the forest land will be diminished also. So we have this project, the Kalimantan Forest Project, to protect them. We try to socialize this project to plantation company and also to the government of province and also to the district government. Next. This is our working component. First, mainstreaming of forest ecosystem service and biodiversity consideration into national, provincial, and district policies and decision-making process for for forest area planning and management. Second, we develop and demonstrate a strategy for integrating forest area planning, management and conservation with estate crop spatial planning and management across 4 districts of Kalimantan. These districts are Ketapang, Sintang. Pak Bupati Sintang will be present after me. And then we also have the site in Kota Waringin Barat and Kutai Timur, and a target landscape within those districts. And we testing and demonstration of incentive mechanism to reduce deforestation associated with the estate crop sector. The last one, we increase knowledge and understanding of the multiple factor underlying successful implementation of reduced deforestation green growth strategy for Indonesia estate crop sector. In this project, we have 6 cross-cutting issues. First, with the capacity building, and then the sustainability, partnership, short cooperation, communication, and gender mainstreaming. Next. As I said before, that we have 4 sites in Kalimantan. One site is in East Kalimantan, covering 161.374 hectare of forest outside Forestland. And in West Kalimantan, we have 2 districts. First is in Sintang, which cover around 61.980 hectare. And the second site is in Ketapang district, covering 106.505 hectare. The last one is in Central Kalimantan in the district of Kota Waringin Barat. This is around 18.057 hectare. Next. In the project, we try to do some approach, what we call multi-stakeholder approach, Kalimantan Forest Project. And we have 5. One is multi-stakeholder collaboration, and then the second is information sharing. The third is consultation. The fourth is engagement, and the last one is community empowerment. Based on this approach, we try to get an optimal management of forest at the, we in Indonesia call it APL, yeah, area penggunaan lain, but in term of English maybe we can say this is a non-forest land. And also convertible production forest will provide many benefit for the community in terms of economic, ecology, and social culture. Next. And the last slide, this is the improvement policy for the future that the government will regulate for the management of forest ecosystem at non-forest land, particularly to those without any permit or license. This for ensuring that every inch of land is managed properly. Then number 2, developing policy umbrella for planning, management, and monitoring of forest ecosystem at non-forest land. The number 3, improve coordination among government agencies, especially with state land agency, or we call it the PPN, and provincial government and district government. Then number 4, identify high conservation value and high ecosystem services value at non-forest land. And the last one is formulate policy of returning APL with good forest condition to state forest land. I think this is all my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Pak Kustanto. So I like to recall again that our forest in Indonesia, we have a land use forest for the whole country. We divide for forest area and non-forest area. Of course, in forest area also there is non-forest. Probably we have also the program how to handle with the resettlement and agriculture and so on. And the non-forest development area also there is remaining forest. How to handle this? So for the field implementation, I think we invite Pak Jarod, Bupati Sintang, to have a floor, please. Pak Jarod.
Thank you, moderator. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to the ground. Next, please. I'm coming from Sintang district. This one is direct bordering to Malaysia, situated in the heart of Borneo. Heart of Borneo is not only Sabah or Sarawak, but Sintang, Kapuas Hulu. And then, this is the total area, as large as Slovenia, less than Rwanda, but as large as, better? Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. Coming from jungle, so don't know how to use it. Okay, see, this is Sintang, you know. Almost 60% is forest area. Okay. 40% is non-forest area, development area. The white line is development area. Forest area, we have national park, and then protected area, and forest, production forest. And then the white one is non-forest area, development area, we call development area. But in development area, we still have forested area. Nationally, 7.9 million hectare. In Sintang is about 61,000 hectare. 61,000 hectare. Okay, so we have obligation to keep all the forest area. And then why? Why should we have to keep the remaining forest in development area? This is about the motive driven. First, if we want to discuss about how to keep remaining forest, we have to know what the motive driven community they want to keep the remaining forest area. At least we have 10 legal forests by region decree as a forest in outside forest area. We have a 2 for orangutan center. We have a 2 for resource of the water. We have 2 for micro hydro. Okay, for micro hydro. And then other we have because they're scared with palm oil. They don't want to, they don't want to take over by palm oil. So give us a decree, Bupati decree as a forest area. So we want to keep the forest and don't want palm oil. But the special one is, this is a longhouse. This is heritage, longhouse heritage is by mean, we cannot change the building. This is a longhouse is like that, okay? And then, in the longhouse, the activity is making a woven product with natural color. So this is one. So dark and not so bright, but natural color. Using natural color and using from the surrounding forest, forested area. Even though outside forest area, they want to keep all the forest because this is a source of a natural color. Okay, for our woven product. We call inside panjang. Panjang is long. Okay, yeah, this is a long house. We start new project here, supported by UNDP and GF. In this area, we have opportunity to making balance between conservation, increasing livelihood of the people, and then, giving respect for local wisdom of them. Okay? So, if we have a good project here, it become the perfect example of sustainability. Because sustainability is making balance between conservation and then economic development and social development. So we try hard to make a success here. We have a 210 hectare. They want to keep all the forests for natural color, and then we developed into ecotourism, of course, and then protection of the forest, of course, social forestry, agroforestry, and a lot of program. Let's see the short movie. We have the biggest monolith mountain, Bukit Lam. Nearby the Bukit Lam is just only 25 or 30 kilometers. That's the inside Panjang Longhouse. See, beautiful. You want to go there? Yeah, tell me. I will arrange for you all. From Suriname, ya, orang Jawa. Jawa. Iso teko ning nggon aku. See, they are vibe. And then take a look how they make this. Even a lot of people coming here for, ecotourism. Good, huh? So, and then, what the role of local government? We have a lot of good initiative in Sintang. Everybody coming to Sintang, well-known NGOs coming. Best scatter, in small one, good practices, good practices, good practices. The role of local governments, how to scale up all the best practices across the district, so giving substantial contribution for climate change for our NDC. So we cannot stand alone. Let's collaborate with us and come to Sintang. Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you, Pak Jarod. It's very great presentation. So after we have the picture from the national, go to directly to the local government presented by Pak Jarod as head of the local government. We invite Pak Professor Rudy as giving some perception for academicians. Please take a break.
Thank you, Pak Yu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to continue to inform some research activity and also our work with Cover 4 with entitled Situation of Forest Cover in Non-Forest Area or Forestland, as mentioned by Pak Kustanta earlier, in East Kalimantan, Indonesia. In this time, I would like to share about the case study that we run in Kutai Timur, East Kalimantan. Okay, I would like to use this slide that informed by Pak Kustanta. This is the current situation of the forest cover change in Indonesia. So including in Kalimantan. Of course, so many reasons come to realize why our forest cover was changed year by year. But in East Kalimantan, we recognize that one of the reasons come from the conversion our forest area due to the plantations that we have and developed there, mainly from the oil palms plantations. So this is the current situation, that permission that legally we released there, and this is the area for plantations, and this one is planted area and non-planted area. So we are one of the, the main player in the palm oil production in Indonesia instead of Sumatra. So based on our study, we found that some of the area even recognized as non-forest land, as mentioned by Pak Kustanta, but they are still exist as forest. As we can see here, we found this one, the dry lowland Dipterocarpaceae ecosystems, and also the karst. This is one of the heritage area ecosystem that we have there in East Kalimantan, and also very sweet mangrove ecosystems. Unfortunately, all of the areas already permitted and will be converted to the palm oil plantations. They already stated. That's why this work is very important to conserve the potentials area due to its high biodiversity in harmony of our goals to sustain our developments. So in terms of the 6 point of high conservation values, so our activity was done, supported by the GEF and then Ministry of Environment and Forestry, funded by UNDP, to point out some like supporting or endorsement factors that could be used, that we potentially used to protect area. So one of the regulation that we note and very important is related with this one, instruction of President of Indonesia, number 8, that released at 2018. Here in these regulations, the subject of regulation are the new application for licensing permit of plantations, application that has been submitted but has not yet completed the requirement or has fulfilled the requirement but is in a productive forest area and so on. In this instruction, clearly, the President mentioned to the Minister of Environment and Forestry to evaluate oil palm plantation that are in the forest area but have not yet received release for sub-forest areas and implementation of development of high conservation forests from the release of forest area for palm oil plantations. This is one of the regulation that come from the national levels to conserve and revise the idea to use that forest land, even in the non-forest area, to plantations. And I would like to show you the regulation that already released by our local government. In this case, the provincial regulations that we call as governor regulations that released almost similar time with the president's regulations. And here, clearly, the idea is to structuring the granting of permit and non-licensing the field of mining, forestry, and plantation in the province of East Kalimantan. So the government tried to commit to development of food security and integration of oil palm and cattle programs, establishing the partnership plantation system, or that we call the as a plasma system for communities. At least 20% of the area of plantation should be dedicated for the people around there. And the third one, the government commit to utilize and develop the renewable energy, particularly that come from the conversion process of palm oil. And others, so the government also commit to manage the high concern value land in the plantation as well as possible. And if they found the peatlands area, the peatland should be managed in accordance with the provisions of the legislations. And when we talk the leverage of the regulation, of course, it will be more effective if the local, I mean, in this case, the regency or district, as well as mentions, he also role the issues here. The Bupati or the district leaders of Kutai Timur also released. When we show and confirm the time, actually, what I miss on this, actually the regulation was released at 2006. So the local government really protects, and they already put some support on that. In this case, the government tried to manage and control some activity related with the land clearing without burnings, and then also allow 10% of the area for the conservation and so on. So I think it's Kalimantan. Luckily, we are of one of the provinces in Indonesia that really strong on the commitment. So it can be seen here. So led by our governor, 8 regency or district leaders already signed their commitment to support the idea for the evaluation and controlling releasing of the forest land area for the plantations. So this is just signed in September 2007. So for us in East Kalimantan to manage the forest area outside of the forest land, quietly new, I think, because as mentioned by our moderator and also our Director General, mostly, and in previous time, we divided our forest issues management to be 2 parts. One's that managed by the forest area that managed by the Ministry of Forest and Environment, and others with many sectors. But right now, we try to focus our work also, not only focus on the forest land, but also to outside of the forest land that commonly convert to the many purposes such as oil plantation and palm plantations. And in terms of this, the regulation was ruled on the prioritizing to increase productivity rather than expanding the plantation area. So we try to introduce and put some our intervention to increase the production instead of develop the more and more wider area for the plantations. And others, the expense of a new plantation is directed at the land with low carbon stock instead of the primary or any others forest cover area. So this is the important one. And the other one is related with accelerate the development of license plantation process, evaluation and arrangement of licensing, protect areas of high carbon stock value. In this case, the government decided and committed to have 640,000 hectares in natural forest and 50,000 hectares in peatland areas until 2030. This is our long target of the roadmap. And ensuring that plantation implement ISPO standards. This is the declarations that we have there. So, talking about East Kalimantan, again, as Pak Jarod mentioned about his case in Sintang, we realized that the forest cover decreased year by year. So right now we have here 80% of the covering area was dry lowland secondary forest. So already our forest convert not in the primary status, but in the secondary ones. And this one, the result that we got, we identify potentially to convert and protect 228,000 hectares of the forest area in a non-forest land area, but finally we will decrease the number of them. And due to these situations, the declaration also guide us to revise and review the permission that already exists there. For instance, the permission that gifted to the lowland Dipterocarpaceae with the situation like this, or with that they already decided in the karst ecosystems, mangrove, even for the swamp pit forest. So means that directly we cannot continue the idea on this. We have to shift our idea like this. Mentioned in the declaration, we have to use and increase productivity of the low carbon stock forest to palm oil plantation or any other plantation idea, but it should be in combination to our effort for the revitalization and redevelopment of forests inside of the plantation, as can be seen here, the target. So using the methodology that we have in this study, we recognize that, as mentioned by Pak Jarod previous, that actually the forest area, even in non-forest lands, very important not only for the diversity of flora and fauna, but also mainly for the people around there, the local peoples, because they use the forest area that should be kept by us for as their economic backbone. For instance, for people who once living around the swim pit forest, they use that area as the fishing pond for this fishing activity. And also they use the lowland secondary forest for the agricultural activities, for rice plantation and so on, and also for their cultural activity, for the cemetery and so on, with many others religions links with that. So where is our role on that? So I and our team believe that without welfare and significantly increase their welfare, impossible to talk about their participation on the conservation. In terms of that, we train and develop some products that could be used and developed from resources that we have there. For instance, we produce like premium essential oil and some like the herbal tea medicine that we already produce there in Samarinda. So actually I'm working for the Faculty of Forestry of Lamar University, and this one also. So we try to increase this and scale up, as mentioned by Pak Jarod, the economic value and impacts of the non-forest products or any other function, including the ecosystem services from the forest area, and give the benefit that possibility increase the welfare of the people around there. And others, we also recognize that the forest area is very important for the fauna species, including some important and endemic species, such as this one. This is Tomistoma sailgeli, that we call as badas hitam, the crocodile. That's only, the number of the species limited in the world, ones in our locations, and others, Bos javanicus lowi, this is like bull, and so on. Of course, we are very familiar with orang utan or Pongo pygmies. And as mentioned earlier in the first session of the presentation, Daniel Mudiarso also talked about this bekantan. So we also realized that the idea to conserve the forest is also important to connect and make corridors that could be used by animals around there for the migrations, reproduction, and so on. It's very important for us to keep the existing forest area in non-forest area or forest land, the potential to develop connectivity among essential ecosystem areas. So in our idea, we found 4 at least the essential ecosystems that could be connected each other using this approach. And these ones. So after discuss and do some synchronizations with the national level and others, this is the target or goals of us. So even as mentioned Bapak Kustanta, our goal is only 50,000 hectares, but we strong believe that with cooperation and strong support of the local government of Kutai Timur, we can have this one. At least we can have and conserve 160 more or less thousand hectares of forests in the non-forest land area. And this is still some my team's homeworks. So we still need to increase the social understanding on important function of forest area in non-forest area with high conservation value. Due to the in practical, we still have some people disagree with this idea due to many reasons. And others, we with the governments, we review the permit and license of plantation forest based on their performance due to the resource that potential that we have there. And also, we also develop the financial and non-financial, tangible or non-tangible incentive mechanism that could be offered for the communities or multi-parties involved on this program. And also review of national and local regulation related to the management of high conservation value, including managing model integration programs. So that's all my presentation, and I would like thanks to our partners on this, the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, GEF, UNDP, and also our government in East Kalimantan, Kutai Timur, and my university, Muhammad University, that located in the next capital city of Indonesia, in East Kalimantan. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Rudi. So I would like to invite any clarification, any suggestion, any question. Please, I invite very much to you the floor. So first, yeah, please, sure.
Hello, thank you for a really informative and